to another exciting episode of the Saturday Shade. I'm your host, Nene Kabutey. And on today's topic is one interesting one because, as you can see, I'm repping my continent, okay? We are talking about growing up African. And to do that, obviously, I needed to get some Africans to be on the topic, I can't just have, other people who don't really relate to this, okay? We are not doing that. So to I have some awesome people here. I have Majida, I have Buba, and I have Kwame as well. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Cool. And now, listeners at home, please don't forget to join the conversation on Twitter, SS with Kabutey, on Instagram, Saturday Shade, and do not forget to hashtag Saturday Shade as well. So, so you ready to get into this topic?
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I hear this a lot, and people always ask, especially when I went to undergrad, they're like, oh, you don't act African. Is that where Africans are supposed to act? First of all, I was going to say, first of all, we have an accent that's just very different anyway across board. So I'm like, how do they expect Africans to act?
Even in the States, the people in the Northeast and the Southness have different accents. So, everyone has an accent.
Everyone has a different accent.
What's up, y'all? That's my Southern people.
Wait, so when you say, who's saying that you're African? Like the people who are not African saying you're African?
Yes, so I'll use TSU as an example when I was in TSU. And for those who don't know, TSU is a predominant Black school, okay? All races are invited, but, it was a bunch of Black people. So when they asked that question, I'm like, why are you even asking this question if we are all I feel like we look the same. I feel like I came to this school because I wanted to be able to relate and not feel different if I actually went to a PWI. So for African Americans who are asking, oh, you don't act African, I'm like, how are we supposed to act?
How is an African supposed to act?
That's the question.
Good question. How are we supposed to act?
And someone gave me an example, okay?
Backward.
So someone's example was, oh, you know how Nigerians like to flex, do this and that, because if you went to an undergrad where there's a bunch of Nigerians in the school, Nigerians like to flex, and that's fine, So I think they had that mentality that you had to come, flexing, showing off, not showing up to class, all these different scenarios in your mind. I'm like, do I act like them? No, I didn't have a car at that time. I know, right? I didn't have a car, but I was showing up to school. I took the bus. Or I had to walk, so I was like, this shit don't make no sense. But I guess you guys, it's a stereotype,
Yeah, that I agree. Over here, most of the time people approach me and they go when I start speaking to them, you speak English really well. It's like, thank you. Then which part of the US are you from? I'm originally from Ghana. And they're like, oh, so all the respect, all the whatever they were trying to give to me at the time, thinking I was American, everything vanished. It just goes downhill like that. When I tell them I'm from Ghana. And I'm like, okay, so someone just told me that, why don't you just tell them you are from just mention a state and then go with it. Don't mind any. I was like, I don't feel good about that. I'm from Ghana and that's it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's it. Yeah.
I've had the same thing happen to me in an airport. She was a nice, kind, older white lady. And she's like, where are you from? And I tell her I'm Ugandan. And she's like, that's in Africa. And she said, yeah. And I said, yes. Because I hate saying I'm from Africa because, it's
not a country. It's a continent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I always say my country's name. And she's like, wow, your English is so articulate. And I'm like, well, people came over there and taught us. So what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Oh my God. And that is, I honestly, Buba, like you said, people, it's happened to me at an airport before. One time, I was actually flying to Amsterdam, right? And the lady sees my passport and she goes, oh my God, is Martin your first name? I'm like, the passport says first name. So I was really trying to figure out if she was just slow or honestly,
You're so mean.
No, because it says first. We all have passports. We know how they literally print out everything. So to see first name and it says Martin, for you to ask me if it's my first name or my nickname, that's insulting,
But for a lady who works at the airport, that's quite ignorant because you should be someone who comes across so many names, at different times. So that's a very stupid question to ask.
In their defense, I don't know what, but in their defense, I'm thinking, sometimes you just want to cross-check or double-check if you're the one. So if it's you, you respond to your name immediately. You know what I mean? They do that, like just to double-check if you're the one, like you're the real person in the passport. Let me put it this way. That's it.
I get, I do, and I get that because I know some people, once they migrate, like, those countries, they actually change their names, which is fair. And I do understand why some people do that, but I was just so like, this lady, I don't know if honestly, till today, I just can't figure out how I would have actually responded because I was about to lose it, but the good Lord is still working in me. So I had to kind of like, segue and just, I'm not entertaining this. And it's crazy, But my next question is, we all grew up in an African households, right? How was your upbringing in an African setting?
Who's gonna take it?
Let me start. So for me, even though my mom and my dad were present, they were working a lot. So I was predominantly taken care of by my grandmother, and that was an interesting roller coaster. The curfews,
oh my God,
being locked indoors, and you can only go out at a particular time, and if you come back after 6, you get whipped. That was military style upbringing. And it was interesting. Like my brother used to find interesting ways to sneak out of the house. Like the door would be locked, and then it has like a latch at the top, so he would open it. And then the door would open, and then he would tell me, "Oh, push it behind you, so it looks like the door is still locked." Yeah, like
wow, that's ingenious, man.
Yeah, it was fun times. It was legit fun times.
Oh my God.
Like it was strict, but in that strictness, it was fun. And then I went to secondary school, boarding school, and I found out, it wasn't just me. A lot of people went through that kind of strict, attitude and, all of that. So it was interesting.
Okay. Buba, how about you?
Well, I kind of had a little modern, but of course there are some basics, like the concept of curfew.
Yeah.
You had to be home, you don't just sleep. I think one of the things that used to surprise me was, how you're watching TV and you're seeing Western world and you see like little kids running on in the mall and you're like, where are their parents? I never let me by myself. They're going to steal you. Like, they can kidnap you. And those are things that used to just confuse me. Or things like sitting on the bed with shoes. Like, how kids run in and then they just sit on their bed.
That thing baffles me. Till day it baffles me. I see movies today, right? Jumps on the bed with the shoes. Why?
I know.
I think, but I think Majida and I might have something in common because we were in the boarding school for like the very long time.
The longest.
So
for 9 years you were in the boarding house, and it felt like your parents just dumped you somewhere and then they forgot about you. It was just like crazy.
Donation.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you guys go back and choose, would you go back to boarding school?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything we are, okay, I'll speak for myself. Everything I am today, I think comes from there. It stems from there. All the longest relationships or like the friendships that I've had comes from there. And certain experiences made me who I am today. So I think if we had that second chance, I would do it again.
Yeah, the same with me because, like, honestly, did I like it at the time? No, I hated that shit. Like, I don't like this shit at all.
The experience wasn't. It wasn't a smooth roller coaster. No. It wasn't like a smooth ride. It wasn't. Sometimes you even felt like they had abandoned you because they're supposed to visit you. Like I think every Sunday, right?
Yeah, every Sunday. Yeah.
Every Sunday they had to come and visit you, and then if your parents are not around and then they don't send anyone to come visit you, you felt all alone. And then
how old were you when you went to boarding school?
6.
Me, I was 6 when I was.
Oh, you were 6 years old?
I was 6. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but the thing is this. I kind of understood my dad because my dad was always busy. My mom's work took her out. So my dad was always like, he's never home. And he didn't know how to entrust. He can't just go give us to someone. So he felt like, okay, you know what? I think if Achimota, at the time, Achimota was a big deal. Like, it was the best school you could ever think about.
We were just bougie, okay?
You know? So, I mean, if let's say we invest in that and we give them to people who would actually professionally take care of them, I think that they're in good hands. So right from my big sister to myself, we all went there. It was just one sister that didn't go. Yeah, but we all went through it. So, I mean, I didn't really feel so left out because I felt like my big sisters had already gone there. And I didn't feel left out. So I was like, okay.
So
cool.
Would you do it again going there at 6 years old?
I don't mind they're 6 years old there because that's all I know, sweetie. I don't know any other thing outside that. So that's it.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
You know, and it's so I'll use Ghana as an example. No, Ghana has like 10 different regions, which people will call it states. I think now it's like 14 or 12.
16.
16 now. Wow, boom. See?
Yeah.
I've been out for so long. It's now 16 different states, right? But at that time, it was 10 different states, you know. And, you know, you realize different people are coming from like different states to the same school. It was a huge school, you know. So everybody you knew at that time was just like a friend or a colleague. And the good thing I actually love about that school is Ghana has 10, I mean, since there's 16 states now, I guess, I don't know if the languages will still be the same, maybe like still the same. Okay. So just imagine people coming together in one state, right? And everybody speaks different languages. I was able to learn most of the Ghanaian languages because that's the only place I could learn it. Nice. Yeah. You know, I mean, I can speak a lot of them, but I can't really write them anyway, so don't actually write nothing.
Yeah, Martin is good with languages though, because you speak Ga, you speak Adangi.
My business out. People be trying to figure out when they're gossiping.
Yeah. Actually, you're actually very good with languages. It just clicked for me. Yeah, that's true.
And I've learned, and honestly, that's one thing I love so much because it's like I don't think, because honestly, at home we only speak like my local dialect and English. That's it, nothing else. Even till today, when I call my dad, he's still speaking that the local. I'm like, yo, I'm in public. I can speak that, you know, this America. He's like, well, I don't care. I'm like,
you better speak that shit.
Right? And it was very...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, usually like out of like the 12 months of the whole year, we probably go home only 3 times or 4 times the entire year. And the longest we go home is like 2 weeks. Because even when you go on like those long vacations, they find a way to get our parents' money and have us back in school for some extra classes. Like, goddamn, we're on vacation.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. I think that the kind of experience that we went through there, it was very peculiar. I think that I can't imagine another school in Ghana that had the same thing. Honestly, we were actually considered like lucky. It didn't feel like we were actually abandoned. The only thing is that when it's time for visit, I mean, you're a kid, so if your dad doesn't come visit you, it's a problem. I mean, during the time we were 6, 7, I think up till I think maybe grade 4.
Yeah.
That's when they had to make sure that they had to come to us all the time.
Yeah.
After that, grade 5, grade 6, you know, they could just, you know, do it like 2 weeks or something like that. But you needed to see them. I mean, it was very important. It was part of your formative years. So they couldn't have just abandoned you like that.
Yeah.
When they felt that, okay, you know what, you've now actually gotten accustomed to the whole system, then they actually started, you know, should I say weaning off, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was okay. When we go to JSS, it was another
like
story.
High school was like once a month.
JSS is what? What's the equivalent in the US?
JSS would be
junior high.
Junior high, but it's like it will be 6th to 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
7th to 9th. Sorry, 7th to 9th. Yeah. 7th to 9th grade. Yeah.
6 was 7 to 9. Yeah. That's true.
So it was crazy though, because for me, my parents used to come very often, and I was poor, so that's what they're like, nah, we're not doing that no more. So they started coming like once, like every 2 weeks. I'm like, and I started doing like some dumb shit. So my dad would just pop up at the school anytime. Anybody who knew me knew my dad because he would just show up at any time. Okay.
But I thought you were not really that crazy, were you?
Well, I really was not. You know, I really wasn't. But sometimes I just, you know, once I go off, it's like, damn. Why?
But how was your high school experience?
I mean, there were people who are really crazy, man. You don't even want to be like them. No. And they were always moving from, let's say, head teacher's office to it was just moving from, you know, the big, I don't know what to say. They were always getting themselves into trouble. So it was a different thing altogether.
Yeah, what was your question?
Yeah, my question was to Buba, like, how was her high school experience like in Uganda?
So high school
in
Uganda
bougie. She bougie, so that's different.
Oh no, actually, interestingly, high school in Uganda is 6 years. So my first 4 years, so I think between 13 to 16, I believe, I was in a government boarding school. Mm-hmm. And then the last 2 years, I went to a private school. So I kind of got a private school that was you stay home. So I kind of got the ultimate. I got to see both sides. So the only time I was in boarding school was for those 4 years of beginning high school. And it was like night and day. But I would tell you, when I was done with those 4 years, I was done.
Like adios.
Yeah. I'm not doing it again.
And the thing is, I went to like a government school, so the funding is limited. The resources are so much more less. And I remember I went to private school for my like middle school years, and then I went to like a government school. But the thing is, I knew what to expect because interestingly, the government schools are the ones that are like the Harvards. Like for some reason, they have the better performing students because you have to get in on merit. Mm-hmm. So I got in on merit, and I had the experience for 4 years. I don't regret it, but I would rather not. I would rather not. Like when I first I got the experience of having to be, locked away and being in school and having that visitation just like probably once a month. And then also I got to have the high school experience which was better for me, like the last 2 years where I had like the experience of going home all the time, you're in school with your friends, you hang out on the weekends. Like, man, it was such a difference, like night and day. So like, I don't regret it.
Listen, Majida and I went to a school that actually Kwame went to like the high school version of the same school, okay? But the crazy part is that school had no walls, okay? And listen, I used to flip the bathroom walls to just go out of town. It was, mind you, I was very short at that time. That school was like my life because it's really shaped me to be who I am because honestly, you can't go nowhere. Like you have like lights out, like you have time to go and eat. You have to wear like a certain... It was very...
just too much. The discipline was too much. And some of us actually carried it along to secondary schools, like the high schools that we went to. And for me, I saw the difference. It was like at that level, the level of discipline that we were shown is not the same. It's not the same when it goes to the secondary school. Maybe Motown, like where Kay went, probably it was still like a continuity. But for us, it was like a shift.
Yeah.
People didn't understand certain concepts. People didn't respect time. They didn't respect anything. It's like you wake up in the morning and then they tell you that you should lay your bed, and some people feel uncomfortable about that. And I'm like, what are you?
For like the boarding school in high school?
Yeah.
I think that's because, kids, they have to be more strict with timing because, kids are kind of like in the development stages. So if you're going to like let them be, they're going to be unruly and it's going to be uncontrollable. Well, I think like high school, people are kind of more developed. So there's kind of like that laid back attitude for, okay, you haven't laid your bed properly. I know from my high school, they used to come and check and they would like snatch you out of class, like, come get your bed.
It
was. They did that to us. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They did. I mean, I'm going to share this and I don't care because I used to pee in bed, okay? I used to pee back in the day. I used to pee in bed, and like all the matches.
Leonard Hofstadter from Big Bang. I think you said
Leonard. So the mattress had like because people used to take people's stuff, right? So my parents literally gave me this mattress that had like my first initial and my last name on it. So when I pee, I have to take it outside to put in the sun to dry off. So guess what? It shows my name. But then again, I was that kid that was like, you say 1, I'll say 10. So it was like, people couldn't really tease me that much because they knew I was going to come back with something.
Are you sure about this story?
Yeah.
Are you sure about this story?
Yeah.
No. I mean, the thing is, you're out, right? Everyone's going to listen to this.
They know. I mean, those were my dorm, like D1 boys. They knew. So most people would be like, no, just leave them alone. Because I used to tease people. So it was like one thing I always did, like,
Were you guys bullied in high school?
Oh, hell yeah.
In boarding school?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it was a normal thing. But that made me, I mean, I don't even know what to say, but I think that when I went to secondary school, I was terror in the sense that I was hardened before I came there. So you couldn't penetrate. Whatever you did, it didn't do nothing. I mean, if you want to punish me, go ahead and punish me. And then, like when you go there, the seniors would actually bully you. This is the thing.
Like haze, literally just haze you for
someone
no
like
reason.
me, I didn't really speak any of the the local languages. I only spoke English, and then that's what pissed everyone off.
Like you're better than anybody else.
You know,
they're gonna get you for that.
They thought maybe I was some bougie girl. I was like, look, I'm from Accra. Doesn't mean that I don't understand what you're saying. I just don't want to speak it. I'm not good at it. People laugh at me when I speak, so I don't speak at all. If you want to speak with me and you speak my local dialect, let's go. I'll go with you and we can.
Not Bukashi.
No, not Hausa. Wale.
Yeah, you.
Exactly.
Oh, from the north. Yeah.
So it's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't speak Tree, and the thing is, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that people had to push me. They wanted me to
speak.
I didn't like it. So almost all the time, I realized that I was always kneeling down because the seniors would go like, okay. Boho means like kneel down.
Go on like your knees on the floor.
Yo.
You know, everyone is crying, but Majida is like, I have some serious face. I don't care. I'm like, I don't care.
I think one thing that I never used to succumb to was like I would only take punishment from like teachers. Mm-hmm. A student, you're punishing me as who? Who are you? We both come from home. Exactly. I would never like, they would have people doing punishments. I'd be like, take this to the teacher. I'll take the punishment from the teacher. I'm not doing whatever you're saying. Or like they had this punishment in my school where if you came late for like meals, they make you run around like a very wide.
Oh yeah, sign down, run around the building.
Okay.
I would be the last one by a big distance, but I'm like, I'm not running and sweating.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I love you. The thing is that, and this is exactly what the girls don't like,
Yeah.
When you are in the midst of girls, it's always competition. Okay, mm-hmm. Maybe you're prettier than them. Maybe you speak well than them. Or like you're more brilliant. I don't know what it is. It's always this. I don't know, like some silly competition. So they want to put you in a place. I don't know what to say. So junior, they don't care. You came to meet them in the school, so that's it. You need to always succumb or you need to conform to what they say you should do. And some of us, someone like you and I.
And I think like a boarding school like teaches you, I think it kind of introduces you to personalities earlier on in life.
Yes.
People start noticing personalities when they, like people out here in the US, they notice personalities when they move into college and like, then they start having that
move out of their house and
Those are the high school fights I had. I've already been there, done that. Y'all are just doing this now.
Thank you. We've been there, done that. I mean, we have a PhD, we've retired.
Having someone wake up in the morning and just not like your guts for no reason.
It happens. And it does. I mean, the guys for sure is different, but then for the girls.
Yeah.
we had petty guys like that. And I mean, I know. Kwame, come on now. Spill the beans.
Yo. The whole African thing, I think that family, society, culture, religion, all of that, we had certain rules, we had certain norms, we had certain traditions that we needed to follow. So it was actually seen across board, wherever you went. Mm-hmm. So in the school, it was a culture, it was like a tradition. Once you come in and as a first year student, you need to respect the second year students and the third year students who are like years,
whatever they call them.
So basically, you don't get to do your will when you're in the first year. You can't do that. If you're in the second year, you can't do that either. Maybe you just have a leeway. But when you get to Form 3, like which is a senior, then you can do whatever you want to do, exercise whatever power you want to exercise.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
So you need to allow people, like as in how people. How do I put this?
It's like a process. You have to go through like the transition process.
It's like it's like an initiation. I don't know what to say, but it's a whole process. So you start from first year. You move gradually to second year. Then when you get to third year, you can do whatever you want to do. But then when you come, just conform. This is what they want. So if you come and you rebel, you are in trouble.
Just to add to what she just said, though, for some people like myself, it never worked because guess what? I was always befriending like the people ahead of me. So I could do things even when I was in the first year. And second years couldn't say nothing because it's like, oh, the third year has his back. Like, just don't worry about it. But, I finesse my way, okay? as everybody should do.
For me, I mean,
I
was ready. I was even ready to get physical. Don't come to me. You can't.
But then again, mind you, she had sisters who were actually scared of, okay, already. So no one's even trying to like mess with her, okay? Let's just be honest.
So, I mean, if I mention my sister's name, that's it. It's a ticket away. That's the thing. I can't do anything. And when I went to senior high, I didn't have that protection, but then I had the experience I had from junior high. So nothing was new to me. I have seen people bully like the juniors and all that. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to shed tears for you to see that I'm weak or anything like that. So I was kind of a rebellion, if I should say.
Yeah.
And we had this thing called mother and school. I mean, school mother and school father thing.
That crap.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Buba, go ahead with your question because that's a whole different.
So, yeah, my question was relating to what you just said. Because I think basically my question is, what's the one thing that you experienced growing up African that you feel like when you came into this Western world, you wanted to change about yourself? Like, I know personally for me, it was that concept of conforming to senior people and not being able to question them. And coming here and seeing how assertive American people are, and they will question you. Like, you told me to keep quiet, but it wasn't me talking. Well, if a teacher in like our countries would tell you, be quiet, or they come at you, you cannot speak up. You have to like just take the blame and not talk for yourself. Well, here, I've learned how to stand up for myself and be like, it wasn't me, so go get the person who did it. So what's the one thing that you had growing up African and you came to the Western world and felt like, I'm going to change this about myself and adapt to the West, the way the Western people do it?
Yeah, I think that this is one of those things for me. This is one of those things. The second thing is I just, I don't want to be limited. Don't limit me. There's always this invisible cap.
Yeah.
We have the you can't, don't, the no's, like every single time is always like this. You cannot do this. You can't do that. Don't do this. Don't say this. Don't tell me that.
Exactly.
Don't restrict me. I just need to be myself. I need to be myself. So even though I had a personality, I had a strong personality and everything, I realized that over here, the things that were surrounding us in society kind of seep through. It was still inherent because we were in a class filled with global students from all over the world. Then you see that Africans are relegated to the back by choice. Not that because we just go and sit at the back. When you ask questions, we never answer questions.
And yet we have the best grades.
We know, and we have the best grades, exactly. So we know the answers, we never speak, and we are there. So I just watch the class, and then you see that people just start talking with confidence. Like they don't know the answer. They just, the way they even speak about it, you are convinced that they are right.
Yeah.
The lecturer goes like, no, I mean, I understand you, but that's not what I'm looking for. He goes round and round and round, and we are there murmuring this amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I know it. And like
one of my first experiences. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so why can't we speak? Why can't we speak? Because this is exactly how we grew up.
Don't speak until you're spoken to. I think that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I remember one of my first experiences when I literally was brand new, freshman, straight out of Uganda. And we're in the class and the professor here in the States, and the professor tells one of the students, and she tells her, if you cannot be quiet, get out of my class. And this girl stands up. I remember her so well. Her name was Brandy. And she's like, I don't want to be in this class anyway. And she walks out. And I was like, oh my God, did she just talk to a teacher like that?
Okay.
It's not happening in Africa.
Not in an African setting.
No.
You getting whooped, okay?
No.
You're going to get kicked out of the school. You're going to be whooped in front of the whole school and then thrown out.
You'll be buried alive. What
in the world?
You see how we are all reacting to this?
I know, but
you see,
the African in us is like, wait, what?
Just give me a quick sec. Okay, viewers and listeners at home, this is just like a first part of the conversation. Okay, so join us next week for the second part because I'm ready to whoop this little girl's ass. Okay. But don't forget to join the conversation on Twitter, SS with Kabutey, on Instagram, Saturday Shade, and don't forget to hashtag Saturday Shade. Saturday Shade, it is all about the fun.